Hi, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your January 2022 Mercury Retrograde reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see what the tarot has to say. How will Scorpio be affected by the January 2022 Mercury Retrograde? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. 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 At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have Justice, which is Libra energy coming through. If we're born on the cusp with Libra, or we have Libra within our natal chart, that comes through very powerfully here at our root. And we have the Sun. So things are balancing up, right? Justice is coming in, and the Sun is the happiest card in the whole entire deck. So there's real beauty and brilliance here. Then we have the Six of Wands and the Hermit. This is strong Virgo energy, all right, because Libra is ruled by Virgo and Taurus is ruled by Virgo. So very strong Virgo energy coming through here. The Six of Wands is learning how to celebrate ourselves. This is our connection to what we truly love, what we're married to in this world. So it's not who we're married to. It's what we desire, want, what we're dedicating ourselves to, what we're building, what we want to move forward in power and prosperity within our lives. So that's going to be very powerful here. Then we have the Eight of Wands. Things move quickly. The Two of Pentacles, finding that balance, finding that understanding. We're going to be trying to balance everything but ourselves. So that's going to be something where we need to kind of step back and look. Judgment comes through. Our angels are calling us towards something more. And the Two of Swords, there's a choice to be made. There's a decision to be made, right? We always thought it was one way or another, but we're actually going to be finding here is that more doors are opening to us than we realize. More paths are leading us forward, or are, coming to us. Like, yeah, opening to us, coming to us. There are going to be more ways forward than we expected. So that's going to be interesting. And why I'm pausing, because Spirit's saying it's not forward. You think it's going to be forward. It's going to be like off to the left or off to the right, or like, just like a roundabout circle. It's going to be something that's odd, that's coming in. And it's like, okay, but you need to move that way and stop looking in the like easiest or in the direction that you always thought it was going to be in. And that's going to be rather interesting for us, Scorpio. Let's look at our energy to be mindful of, angels and spirit guides. It's the moon. Okay, so this is Pisces energy, and this is very much a be mindful of your fears taking over. Be mindful of what isn't seen. And Scorpio, we are such a beautiful energy to be mindful of what isn't seen, because we walk in the world of shadows. Scorpio is all about the place between worlds. It's all about the shadows and the between the conscious and the subconscious, or between the waking world and the spiritual world. And so the moon is coming in here, and it's saying, look at what you are afraid of. Look at how the subconscious and the conscious aren't working together. Look at how we shrink away, how we aren't, being confident within ourselves, standing tall within what we want, within who we are. Look at all of it and say, why is the fear pulling me down? This is also fear mongering. These are people, and this is, institutions or things or that are being said that are made to make us afraid. So here it's like, okay, look at it and say, am I being pulled down by fear? Or am I letting my soul shine? Because there's only so long you can be terrified, or you can be afraid, or you can be overwhelmed before it takes a toll on you. Just the act of being afraid takes a toll on the body. So we have to be aware of this. We're all going to react to fear differently too. Our chakra energy, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. This is nurturing. This is the Earth Star chakra, located 6 inches below our feet. We are nurturing what we want to develop within our world. We're nurturing our children, we're nurturing ourselves, we're nurturing our inner child, but we need to nurture how we want to move forward in our lives. And nurturing ourselves is going to be really important. We're not going to do that a lot, or want to nurture the inner child within us. It's always going to be the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, right? And this is a sense of I'm nurturing and embracing what I love, who I am, what I desire for my life and for my power and for my purpose. And the purpose of being, the purpose of existing. Now, Mercury retrograde begins on the 14th of January, but from the 29th of December to the 14th of January, we have the pre-shadow period. And we're going to talk about things astrologically for just a little bit. And the pre-shadow period kind of sets up what our Mercury retrograde is going to look like. And because we have Saturn in Aquarius, Saturn rules Capricorn, and Saturn is all about structure and rules, and this is how it has to be. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. It's all about freedom. It's all about expression. It's all about greater understanding. And so here we have this sense of, if I create enough rules, if I create enough, boundaries and forms and things that I have to do and checklists, I will be able to have the freedom that I want within my life. I'll be able to move forward the way that I want to. The thing is that we're going to feel stifled. We're going to feel overwhelmed. We're going to feel as if the creativity, the spontaneity, the beauty of it has been leached out. Now, sometimes some of it has to be. It can't always be one spontaneous thing after another. It's being present for it, but it's taking away the present of it, the gift, the unwrapping, the celebration of it that's going to get to us. And for us, we're going to react in one or two ways. Either we're going to absolutely dive into the rules and say, well, it'll bring back the spark, it'll bring back the beauty, that's just how it's going to be. Or we're going to pull away from it and say, it's not beautiful, it's not organic, it's not creative anymore, and I don't want to be a part of it. So just be mindful of the world that we're setting up for ourselves, and the fact that we are setting up the way that we feel restrained, the way that we feel overwhelmed, the way that we feel denied within our lives before the Mercury retrograde even begins. The 14th of January to the 4th of February is Mercury retrograde. And so Mercury is in Aquarius, and this is really positive. This is a really positive place for Mercury to be in, because we're able to express ourselves. We're able to embrace words and language and ideas and concepts and whatever we need to get us moving out of the box, whatever we think, whatever we're doing to get us moving out of the box. And yet here, even though Mercury is comfortable in Aquarius, when Mercury is in retrograde, we can find that the breakdown of communication is all the more frustrating, because we're in an area, we're in a place that we feel like we should be comfortable in, right? We feel like there should be power and purpose and beauty here, and yet there's not. Now, Jupiter and Neptune are in Pisces. Now, Pisces energy, we have to be a little bit mindful of. Now, Jupiter has been in Pisces from the 29th of December to the 14th of January as well, and so has Neptune been in Pisces. Jupiter in Pisces feels very comfortable. Jupiter and Pisces are very similar to each other. They're friendly, they're caring, they're nurturing, and they really do like being in this place. So that's going to be something that's that's rather important for us, and that's rather powerful for us. Now, Neptune in Pisces is a little bit interesting because Neptune rules Pisces, and Neptune is all about dreams. It's also known as the Lord of the Invisible Kingdom. So the invisible kingdom is our hearts, our dreams, our self-expression, what we truly want, what we truly desire within our lives. And this is going to be a place where we're looking at things and it's like, okay, what do I truly want? But Mercury retrograde makes us afraid to go after it. And especially since we have such strong Venus energy, and Venus is in Capricorn. And when Venus is in Capricorn, it makes it hard to express our feelings, which is not what we want during a Mercury retrograde. It's hard to express our emotions, our words, ourselves. We have language and words come forward as being expressed freely. And really, one of the reasons why we like being in Aquarius, and we might think, okay, well, those are the same things. No, the language of it, the meaning of it, the stringing together of it is one thing, but the individual words are going to be another. And so when Venus is in Capricorn, it's going to feel as if I can't connect with my heart. I can't connect with my soul the way that I want to. My emotions, it's just not there. And as we're water sign energy, this is something that's a very big deal for us, and it comes out as a very big deal. Now, this also makes us rather secretive, and it makes us rather withdrawn because we're feeling anxious, we're feeling sad, and that sadness can tumble into depression if we're not aware of it, if we don't look at it and say, okay, listen, I need to be able to express my emotions. I'm having trouble expressing anything right now, and this needs to be something that I look at. This needs to be something that I understand more for me. Now, Mercury is going to be trine the moon. Now, this is a good place. Mercury likes being, trine the moon. It really does. It's good for our memories. It's good for peaceful soul. It's good for communication skills. But because we're in retrograde, it feels like we're almost there. And then everything falls apart, which is super frustrating. Mercury is conjunct Saturn. And so we find ourselves distrusting our own abilities and our own imagination because we feel like we just need things to be practical enough. We feel like we just need to have the rules laid down. We are also going to find it hard to truly express what we want and what we are thinking. So that's another thing where it's like, I'm getting there and I know I should be there, or I feel like I should be there, and yet something frustrating comes forward. Don't let rules get in the way of ideas and imagination. We're going to try and want to put things in certain boxes. It's like, okay, why not let it just develop? Mercury is going to be squared Uranus. Now, this is a tricky time because this makes everybody astoundingly opinionated. Everybody's right. If only you can listen to me. That's going to be the energy here. Everybody's talking, nobody is listening. It brings a tremendous amount of frustration because there's a strong sense of I'm right and you're wrong, and you just have to see it. Everybody's on attack mode. Everybody's defensive. It's just not good. So just be aware of this. And it's going to make us tremendously introverted as people who feel very deeply. It's going to be a sense of, what the heck is this? Like, I don't want this. We want to walk away from it. And yet we're going to be pulled back in because it's also an energy that's around us that we need to be able to pinpoint. We need to be able to state. And that's going to be important. Now, also, Scorpio, if you have Gemini or you have Virgo within your natal chart, okay, or strong influences within your life, be aware. Both of these signs are ruled by Mercury. So they're going to be affected quite profoundly when Mercury goes in retrograde. And you might be like, what the heck? They're acting mad. From the 29th of December all the way to the 24th of February, it's like, oh my gosh, you're just frustrating to be around. So just be aware of that with this energy here. If it's for other people, be aware of it. If it's for yourself, be aware of it. Now, the 4th of February to the 24th of February, it's the post-shadow period. So this is when we're coming out of Mercury retrograde, but we also have the intense energy of Mercury around us. Now we have the moon sextile Mercury. This brings peace and imagination. We just have to step out of our own egos and into what we truly want to be able to embrace the blessings that come forward with the moon sextile Mercury. Now Mercury is going to be sextile Neptune. Now we have amazing imaginations. Yet, we can find it hard to bring these ideas to life. Stop, again, trying to make things perfect in order to make them happen. Mercury is going to be conjunct Pluto. This alignment brings chaotic thinking because the subconscious and the conscious thinking process are intertwined. So it's almost like we're walking down two different roads. We're embracing two different things at the exact same time. We're going to try and make everybody understand us. We're going to be a bit inflexible with the way that we're seeing things, and yet we're not going to be able to communicate it as well as we think we are. So just be aware of that. The MC is squared Mercury. This makes us intelligent, business savvy, it makes us likable, but we're also going to be relentless in our pursuits and easily distracted and scattered. So again, be aware. Mercury is going to be trying the North Lunar Node, and this is a very curious time. So we are astoundingly curious about ourselves, about others. We are going to dive deeply into things. We can't fix everybody, and we can't always find the answers, even for ourselves. So just be mindful of this. Just really be mindful. Justice is coming forward. Justice, putting things in order. That's going to be really important for us. Having things be balanced. That's, again, going to be really important. And so here, there's this huge sense of, if it's not just, if it's not right, then I have to walk away from it. And we're going to be looking at the collective and not at the individual. And yet we have to look at the individual, because for some things, some things are right? Some people are right. And for other things, they're not. So it's kind of like having an allergy. Okay. If you're allergic to something and you eat it, let's just say peanuts, because that's a common one. Some people are deathly allergic. They can't even have it in the air, or they'll go into attack. Okay. And yet, some people love peanut butter. I love peanut butter. So here, it's knowing what's right for you and what isn't. And it's looking at that energy and saying, okay, I have to know what's right for me. I have to be discerning about the energy that I let into my world. And if I'm discerning about the energy that I let into my world, it's going to be helpful for me. It's not that I'm being mean to this person. It's not that I'm being hateful or hurtful. It's that I can't be dragged down. I can't be broken anymore in this way. I need to start to embrace who I am and what I want and my progression forward and what I really desire within my life. And that's starting to be just. It's not being just to the masses, which is what we're going to try and do, Scorpio, but it's looking at ourselves and saying, I matter. And it brings us to the sun. It's like, it finally lets us shine. It lets us, embrace beauty and prosperity and abundance and a real sense of, this is my heart and this is my soul and this is myself and this is what I need for my life. And this is the radiance that leads me forward. And so it is such an extraordinary thing that we are going to be stepping into. And it's such a powerful thing for us. Now, will we be taken by eyes, by others? Yes, most definitely. When the sun shines in, when there's beauty and there's opulence to us, there's going to be people that say, I want this, you can't have it. Okay? Or I'm going to knock you down so that you don't think you're as good as you are, or you stop thinking so highly of yourself. No, think highly of yourself. Let yourself shine. Let yourself shine, Scorpio, and don't apologize for it. You're going to think, in order to be just, I have to make myself meek. I'm going to have to deny myself. And it's like, no, not at all. It brings us to the Six of Wands, which is what our inner self is saying to us. It's like, celebrate you. Celebrate your achievements. Celebrate your successes. Yeah, look at the times where you failed. Okay, fine. But those are all learning times. And it might be decades. You might sit there and say, oh my gosh, I could have had so much fun with my 20s. But if you didn't, that's said and done with. Like, let's move forward from here. Let's see where we go. Let's see how we develop. And so here, with the Six of Wands, it's being able to celebrate who we are. It's being able to look at things and say, job well done. It might not have been perfect. It might not have been right or everything that I wanted it to be, but it was beautiful for you. And it's powerful. Even if the thing that we did wasn't right. Like, we look at it and we cringe and we think, I should have done better, or I should have known better. And what Spirit is saying here, it's like, no, let yourself celebrate. Let yourself celebrate you and the knowledge that you have now, the way that you're moving forward now, where you are. It brings us to the Hierophant. And the Hierophant says, again, celebrate your traditions. Celebrate what is intrinsically powerful and beautiful and truthful for yourself and what you desire. It's opening up the door. And so the Hierophant comes through. The Taurus energy comes through. And it says, I need to be grounded. I need beauty around me. I need, stability around me. I need security around me. And we're going to need to look at these things and be very open with ourselves. Say, what is it that I want? What is it that I need? How is it that I'm moving forward for me? And where is it that I need to be, soul and spirit, for myself? And this isn't being selfish. This is really looking at ourselves and saying, okay, but this is also connecting with institutions, right? This is also looking inwardly and celebrating ourselves as we're moving forward, maybe starting our own careers, getting a better education to help progress us, in our world, opening up the doors for us. And this is going to be something that's very powerful for us. There's also a sense of, how do I want to move forward? What is right for me? This can be schools, this can be work, this can be whatever it is, it's like it's opening up the door. This is also learning something new. This is bettering ourselves. This is empowerment. It really is. Excuse me. And it moves us to the Eight of Wands. Things start happening quickly, especially emotionally, when it comes to our careers, when it comes to what we desire. We're learning our own worth almost. And there's a real sense of that. And there's a real sense of, what I had once thought is starting to change. How I once had labeled myself is starting to change. And now I'm starting to see my heart move forward. And I'm starting to see things progressing. And I'm kind of looking at it at first and being like, And now I'm like, oh, I need to move with this. Like, I need to move with this energy. It brings us to the Two of Pentacles. And the Two of Pentacles is like, I need my feet firmly planted on the ground, right? Because here they aren't. We have trickery around us. We have high emotion. We're trying to balance everything. I need my feet firmly planted on the ground for me to balance what it is that I want within my life, for me to look at the emotional understanding of myself, and for me to move forward. Because there's a sense of, just like with justice, we're going to try and do it for everybody else, but we're not going to do it for us. And Spirit is saying here, it's important to do it for us. And it's not in that way. You know how some people are innately selfish, like they will pile all the food onto their plate, and it's like, okay, dude, like you have to share with everybody. What the heck is going on? That sense of lack. It isn't that energy that we're talking about here, because it's the energy of balance. It's the energy of sharing. It's the energy of prosperity. It's the energy of abundance. That's what we're stepping into, and that's what we need to be aware of. So whether it's we take too much or we take too little, it's out of balance. So we have to be aware of this during this time for us, because judgment is calling us towards an awakening. And here it says acceptance, awakening, assessment. And that's what we do. That's what we're doing. We're accepting the call of our angels. We're accepting this higher power, this higher call that's coming to us. And it's affecting our waking world. It's affecting the way that we're moving forward as we're understanding ourselves, as we're seeing ourselves, as we're going after what we want, what we need, who it is that we are. We're finding that we're moving in a much more powerful direction than we had originally thought. And as we do this, we're starting to see that we're breaking out of a box. We're breaking out of constraints and confinements that we have been in, that either we put ourselves in, society put us in, our parents, our guardians, whomever raised us put us in. And we're starting to look at the world and saying, I'm breaking down these barriers. And as I'm breaking down these barriers, the Two of Swords comes. And here it says decisions, choice. And it just keeps on repeating this like a mantra. And it's like, okay, our decisions and our choices, like which way do we move forward? But what's so interesting is we always think it's the two roads. It's either left or right. It's either this way or that way. And what Spirit is saying here is like, you'll be surprised at what comes forward, or what unfolds. That should be it, because Spirit is saying, it's not forward. We're going to think it's in one direction, and we're going to be surprised at the different directions our life takes, at the different things that we start to juggle and become a part of, that really sets us on a path that we hadn't imagined. And that's going to be a really important thing to answering this call by our angels, to be able to say, what I had once thought, the confines of my world that were like this, this rectangle here, it isn't what I thought. And it's so much more than I ever realized. And I'm awakening to that. And as we're awakening to it, we have to be mindful of the energy that's trying to hold us back. And that's, funnily enough, ourselves. It's Scorpio energy. We're going to be the ones that are holding ourselves back. We're going to be the ones who are afraid and overwhelmed and doubtful that we can. And so we have to face that. We have to face that shadow part of ourselves. And it's the part that lives in the shadows. It's the lies, it's the deceit, it's what is masked and what is, hidden, that is going to be so overwhelming for us. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy. And that's spiritual awakening with the crown chakra. We are crowned with a spiritual awakening for ourselves. We're crowned with deeper understanding, deeper insights, deeper ideas. And we're starting to awaken to it. And it's like, oh, but I didn't think these were connected. I didn't think this was intertwined. I didn't think this had anything to do with the other thing. And it brings us to our subconscious rooted message. And that's the moon coming through again, that Pisces energy, that sense of face the fears, look at the doubts, look at the hurts, look at the pains, and start to embrace the confidence that comes as we see the shadows, as we look at the monsters, as we look at what we are terrified of, and we can see that they're simply shadows, or we can start to see that the monsters aren't coming to attack us, they're guarding us. They're keeping away that which we really don't want within our lives. And so we can step closer towards them. We can start to really embrace their fierceness and their ferocity and their intensity, not as an evil, angry thing, but as a warrior to stand beside us. We're looking at things so differently. And as we're looking at things differently within us, we're looking at things differently externally. And it's starting to open up a whole new understanding, a whole new world. It brings us to our subconscious inner self. And that is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But it is that sense of, this is my voice. This is what I'm letting out. It looks like a banshee here. It's like, this is my scream. This is the scream that is heard. This is the voice that is heard. And I've kept it in for so long. And now this is the power of me. The Queen of Swords is the most masculine of all the queens. And so she is usually kind of demonized because of that. No, it's her energy and her power of warriorness, of being able to stand in what she wants and what she needs and who she is, and open up the gates and say, this is what I've trained for. This is what I've learned. This is what I desire within my life. And it brings us to our subconscious emotional self. And that's the 10 of Swords. We've had enough. Like, this is the death and rebirth of things. This is us in the minor arcana. This is a decade. This is 10 years, 10 months, 10 days, 10 weeks, whatever it is, in relevance to us, where we have been learning, we have been gathering, we have been, shut down, we have been denied, we have been overwhelmed. And now we're starting to see ourselves moving forward. We're starting to see ourselves more, and take the swords out of our back and have them be the weapons that we use, the knowledge that we use to pull ourselves forward in this world. And it's not the end that we thought it is, or we thought it was. It is a new beginning, and it is a transformation, and it is a powerful transformation at that. Our subconscious, not emotional self, public arena self, is the High Priestess. Here it says, secrets, dreams, wisdom, inner voice, spiritual world. And that's what our eyes are opening up to. The veil is being lifted from our eyes, and we are opening to so much more wisdom, so much more knowledge, so much more understanding than we ever thought we could be privy to. And we're also starting to see people not for the way they want to be perceived, not in the mask that they want to be perceived in, but in the way that they truly are. And that can be very overwhelming for us, because it's like, oh my goodness, I thought you were one way, but you're this way. Like, what the heck is going on here? So just be aware of this. We're also starting to see ourselves for who we truly are. That means we can call ourselves out rather easily. If something is happening here, if something is holding us back, if something is overwhelming, it might not be something that we want to do, but we're always going to have to kind of tell the truth to ourselves, especially during this time, especially during Mercury retrograde, when everything gets so muddled. We're not going to want to be, Scorpio, muddled to ourselves. It's going to be very important that we state things as we see things, and that's going to be very powerful for us. And the High Priestess and the Hierophant. The High Priestess in some early forms of the tarot was known as the female pope. And the Hierophant is a representation, especially in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck when it's not a centaur, right, is the pope coming forward. And here, if we look at the centaur and we equate it to Chiron, it is the wounded warrior. It is the teacher of healing. And that's what we're embracing here. We're embracing the teaching of healing, of the soul and of the self, and of the greater power of who we are and how we're moving forward in our lives. How to move forward wounded and yet still healing, still preparing, still guiding. That's going to be very important, Scorpio. All right, Scorpio. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this Mercury retrograde. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Scorpio, and may you have a blessed Mercury retrograde.